A new offseason discussion surrounding the Kansas City Chiefs has started to gain attention across the NFL. According to multiple reports, the Chiefs are among the teams monitoring the situation of quarterback Anthony Richardson. This is not an official trade announcement, but league discussions suggest that several franchises are evaluating their quarterback depth and keeping an eye on potential opportunities that could develop during the offseason. For Kansas City, the context behind these reports is fairly straightforward. The entire offensive structure of the Chiefs is built around their franchise quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Over the past several seasons, Mahomes has established himself as one of the most dominant quarterbacks in the NFL and the driving force behind Kansas City's continued success. Because of that, the organization consistently focuses on building a roster that supports him and keeps the team competitive every year. In today's NFL, teams understand that quarterback depth can be extremely important. Even when a team has a superstar starter, organizations still evaluate their backup options carefully. Injuries and unexpected situations can happen during a long season, and having reliable depth at quarterback can make a significant difference in maintaining stability within the offense. That's part of the reason why off-season reports about the Chiefs evaluating the quarterback market have started to surface. The team is simply going through the same process many franchises follow during the off-season, reviewing the roster, identifying potential areas for depth, and monitoring players who could become available. Within that broader conversation, Anthony Richardson's name has come up in recent reports. Richardson began his NFL career with the Indianapolis Colts, where he quickly drew attention for his athletic ability. His combination of size, speed, and mobility has made him one of the more physically gifted young quarterbacks in the league. Young quarterbacks with that level of athletic profile often remain intriguing to teams across the NFL. Even when their early careers include ups and downs, their potential keeps them on the radar of multiple franchises that are always evaluating talent and long-term roster possibilities. Another factor mentioned in reports is Richardson's contract situation. His deal carries a cap figure of roughly $33.9 million, which means any team considering a move would also have to factor in financial implications. In the NFL, salary cap management is a critical part of roster building, and every potential move must be evaluated from both a football perspective and a financial one. An important detail in this situation is that the Chiefs are not the only team reportedly monitoring Richardson's status. According to reports, several franchises have checked in on the situation. Those teams include the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Los Angeles Rams, and the Baltimore Ravens. When multiple teams are linked to the same player in off-season reports, it often sparks broader discussion across the league. Sometimes those situations lead to actual moves, and other times they simply reflect the routine process of teams gathering information and evaluating possible roster adjustments. From the Chiefs' perspective, the organization's long-term focus remains very clear. Kansas City has been one of the most consistent contenders in the league in recent years, largely because of the combination of Mahomes and head coach Andy Reid. Reid's offensive system and Mahomes' playmaking ability have turned the Chiefs into one of the NFL's most dangerous teams on offense. Because of that success, the Chiefs approach roster management with a clear goal: maintain a strong supporting cast and ensure the team remains competitive during Mahomes' prime years. Every offseason move, whether it involves free agency, the draft, or trade discussions, is evaluated with that larger objective in mind. At the same time, off-season reporting often includes exploratory discussions rather than finalized decisions. Teams across the league constantly monitor the market, speak with other franchises, and assess different possibilities. Many of those conversations never turn into actual trades, but they still provide insight into how teams are thinking about their roster construction. In this case, the reports linking the Chiefs to Anthony Richardson simply highlight that Kansas City is paying attention to the quarterback market as part of its overall roster evaluation process. That approach is common across the NFL, especially for teams that expect to compete deep into the playoffs every season. For Chiefs fans, the main takeaway is that the organization continues to approach the offseason strategically. With Patrick Mahomes leading the team, the franchise remains focused on building a roster that can compete at the highest level year after year. Whether any real movement develops around Anthony Richardson remains to be seen. For now, the situation is still part of the broader off-season discussion happening across the league. But the fact that several teams are monitoring the situation shows how closely the NFL community watches talented young quarterbacks, and how quickly the market can change. And if you want to stay updated on the latest real news and developments involving the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming updates. For now, this situation remains one of the many off-season storylines quietly developing around the NFL. And as teams continue evaluating their rosters, it will be interesting to see whether this discussion eventually leads to a concrete move or simply remains part of the league's ongoing off-season conversations.